Alright everyone, we start off today with new Hunter Biden allegations. Not really allegations, it's been forensically examined at this point. The iPhone sync that was on his laptop that they cracked. By the way, there is no direct access to the entire iCloud. I hate cloud storage and have never used it myself. It's synced material that's, I guess, locally stored, something like that. This is why I don't use these things. I don't fully understand them. I'm a little bit of a Luddite in that sense. It's why I have higher security than most people. Before we get into that, though, keep in mind to all of the various new people joining as a result of the astonishing success of the recent live streams, actually. I think that falling into a schedule, more people are piling aboard. With 4,500 people yesterday at 8 a.m. Eastern on a Monday, so it's pretty good. Keep in mind that down below there will be a pinned comment if you're watching this video on YouTube with links to other video hosting sites that I use. I make exclusive video content every single day on those platforms that doesn't end up on YouTube. Sometimes it's too spicy for the platform. Sometimes it's just because there's an overflow of videos. I'm compensating now in part because of the overflow now by doing the news roundup live streams basically every day. I'm not going to stop doing them because people seem to have a positive appraisal of them, so it's all good. Anyway, link in the description, archived of course as well cross-platform. Apparently, according to Hunter Biden, in some of his text messages that were taken from his iPhone or iPad, whatever crapple device he had synced with his laptop from hell, Joe Biden owns 5 firearms. This is interesting because in the last 24 hours he's dumped 3 or 4 shit posts about guns and gun violence. Of course, that's his new thing. He's pivoted to that. It's amazing. The Democrats fucked up on Roe v. Wade so much that Joe Biden spends more time now talking about gun violence than he does even about what everyone would have perceived of and predicted to be now a main midterm issue. It's a back burner issue now. Roe v. Wade, abortion has gone from a back burner issue to a front burner issue in the wake of the decision, and within only a few short weeks it went right back to the back burner. I would like to ask all of the Democrats out there, do you really think Joe Biden gives a shit about that issue? Apparently he doesn't give a shit about gun violence. More guns in the home mean more gun violence, says Joe. Just to fire a shotgun through a closed door at an attacker. That makes a lot of sense. That was quite literally his advice on how to handle home invasion some time ago. Of course, he also believes the AR-15 is meant to disembowel people and that 9mm bullets will rip your lungs out. Maybe a short range with a well-placed shot out of the right firearm. Yeah, of course. 22 can do the same thing potentially. You happen to be really good at shooting. But Joe Biden knows nothing about guns, but yet owns 5 of them, allegedly, according to Hunter Biden. I want to know what these guns are. Are these all old double-barrel shotguns like Grandma used to have, sitting on her fucking porch with the apple pie in her rocking chair with the cat on her lap? Just to make sure none of them groundhogs get into my turnips or something like that. Because that's sort of the grumpy old man deliverance banjo kid as elderly Joe Biden thing. It's almost a retro nostalgic look, not just at guns and gun control. Of course, when Joe Biden was younger, and that was a while ago, you didn't have the overruling of the Cruikshank decision. Firearm ownership was understood at the time to be a privilege, and for over 100 years, the Ku Klux Klan-based SCOTUS decision of Cruikshank held up, and Jim Crow basically was alive and well up until, ironically, the Bush administration days, as far as guns go. Remember, gun control in the United States was incepted specifically as a reaction to freed slaves. It was simply an attempt to make sure that white gun manufacturers, there's 99.9% of them, those businesses owned by people that were white at the time, that they didn't have to sell the gun to the black person who shows up and says, well, look, Ku Klux Klan is on the fringes of the woods every night and they're hollering how they're going to lynch me. I need to get me a 6-shooter. Sorry, sir, we don't serve your kind around here. That's basically U.S. gun control in a nutshell and remained the case throughout the Bruen decision in the litigation there. That was effectively the same line taken up by New York and New Jersey. If you ever needed an indicator that, yes, the Democrats really are still the party of the Ku Klux Klan, they are still defending that untenable position now, years and years after Heller and McDonald versus Chicago. So that's the first revelation. Joe Biden is apparently a hypocrite with regards to firearms and owns 5 of them. Again, Can we please find out what these firearms are? Because I'm assuming that he's not just an avid collector of antique shotguns. I have a feeling that you'll find a rifle in there, maybe low caliber, but it's probably there. You may find a handgun or two. Those are the boogeyman now. The AR-15 and handguns basically compete with one another to be the boogeyman because they're the most effective modern style weapons. Notice how nobody ever goes after revolvers. Shit, dude, you can do just as much damage as with a handgun. Some handguns have a lower capacity than some revolvers. Something in 38 Special, you'll tear up some shit. The other revelation is that the Secret Service has weighed in now. They are aware of the leaked material, which has again been analyzed and found repeatedly to be almost certainly real. It comes from the laptop of hell. It is Hunter Biden's shit. It doesn't mean everything Hunter Biden says there is necessarily true. We have to be very careful when we're digging through the images, the videos, etc. The things we know, Hunter Biden is constantly naked, constantly using drugs, he's whoring around, he's probably fucked hundreds of hookers, may have screwed his cousin at one point, and is doing weird shit, especially with relation to drugs. Here's the problem. While Hunter Biden was doing this, Daddy was vice president and now, of course, is the asterisk president of the United States. Hunter Biden is doing weird, salacious shit that could lead to a potential blackmail situation with Joe Biden. And it's a problem. This is a major scandal, a major problem. Having someone who is the son of the sitting president of the United States doing things that are flat out illegal and potentially due to his business dealings in foreign nations, which totally have nothing to do with Joe, even though he referenced them repeatedly and communicates with Hunter Biden. Just to be clear, that's the other revelation we got a couple of days ago. He left a voicemail to Hunter where he talks about his business material, at least in a roundabout way. So we know that Joe Biden lied to everyone. The Secret Service should take this very, very seriously, because you have a situation where an old and demented man, his son, who's already in his fucking 50s but acts like he's 15 fucking years old, is doing crack, he's doing hookers, he's doing all sorts of weird shit, he's illegally obtaining a firearm at one point, he never faced any justice for that. A foreign nation, aware of this material, that has done business with him, could potentially hold this over the head of a sitting elected high official in the United States, happening to be the chief executive. If something like this, a business deal with one of Trump's children, had happened under his tenure, it would have been front page news day after fucking day. There would have been congressional investigations. There would have been outrage. The legacy media, only a couple of outlets have even touched this story, and in general they muddy the waters by saying, well, we can't independently verify that any of this shit's true. And then they leave out the good parts. They just talk about Hunter Biden doing perverted shit. Everyone already knows that he's a pervert. Fuck, he cheated on his dead brother's widow with a stripper and got her pregnant. We already know that Hunter Biden's into the drugs and into the hookers thing. There's worse shit here. We can verify that Joe Biden's a hypocrite on guns. We know that Joe Biden, and really, Hunter doesn't matter. Only reason that any of this matters is because of his connection to the President of the United States. That's the only reason that any of this matters. You get some generic person, some jack-off out there that's having, probably in many cases, unprotected sex with a bunch of hookers, I'm just going to assume that they're an AIDS factory. Now, who cares? No public official is tarnished by this. There's no blackmail scheme or anything. It's just someone who's cracked out and making dumb decisions. When they're close to the President of the United States, really, there should be a proper investigation. And the Secret Service weighing in says, we can't comment because of the possibility of an ongoing active investigation into these allegations that we are fully aware of. While I don't think, unfortunately, there will be any closure on this, it is rather telling that they're not going to comment and use that as a foil. I think also, I'm beginning to see a conspiracy taking form. I think that this is part and parcel of how they're trying to actually debilitate Joe Biden's presidency, to bring him down so low that when the midterms go disastrously bad for the Dems, and they will, and for the neocons, Liz Cheney will be out of a job in about 4 more weeks. When all the neocons and half the Democrats are out of Congress, they will blame Joe Biden, they will throw him under the bus, they will do what the New York Times has effectively already done and suggest that he resign, or that he at least stand down and refuse to run in 24. It's part of a much larger plan, and I think that they always planned this. They knew when Joe Biden was running in 2020 that he already had cognitive decline. They were well aware of the fact that he has no coalition of voters, and now even less than what he had before. They're aware of this. They don't want him to run. They also want to block Kamala, who's tarnished by her connection to him. They block Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, probably, due to the age question that they've already been bringing up now for weeks. And they're going to try to use it against Trump, who I think that they envision will run again. And if he does, there's nobody really that can stop him from getting the nomination. I think this is part of a much more vast thing. It's sort of like when you stand on a spider's web, all you see is strings going out randomly in every direction. You take a step back and you look at it for the whole that it is, it becomes much more orderly and patterned and easily understood. That, I think, is what we're seeing here. This goes beyond Hunter Biden. It even goes beyond Joe Biden. It's part of a long-term criminal conspiracy at the highest rungs of our government. The Secret Service will not give us closure on this, but it is some solace knowing that we have corroboration that Joe Biden is a fucking hypocrite on guns. I wonder how many of his fans have seen this story. Maybe they should be made aware of it. So send that link to your liberal friend in your life that hates your pea shooter so much. And it is hilarious watching Hunter Biden be completely destroyed and Joe Biden literally say nothing and never be pressured to say anything. It's rather telling now, isn't it? That's about all. Peace out.